Hello, my fellow aviators and my beloved aircraft mechanics. This is just a quick short just to give you an update on recent things that have come up with doing the FAA check rides, snake eyes, you lose. On here, we see that things have changed for the good, and I want to report the good because so many of these videos have been slightly depressing with all the things wrong with aviation. But now I have some good news to report. I have recently learned that the failure rate on check rides, especially in the Riverside FSDO area, has dropped down to around 5%. So we're having about 95% of our pilots pass their check rides on the first attempt. Now I believe this is a fair number, a fair failure number for people taking their check rides, because on your check ride you do the worst flying of your life. You don't sleep the night before. You don't eat anything for breakfast. By the time you get through with the oral on the check ride, you don't even remember your own name. So 5% sounds about right, sounds fair to me. I've recently had a student go through his instrument check ride, and when I was there, being there to do the paperwork, make sure there was no paperwork snags to hold up his check ride, I've noticed a completely different demeanor with the designated pilot examiners, and that is one of wanting you to pass. Before, back a couple years ago, when if you saw the first video on FAA check rides, snake eyes, you lose, you learned that the FAA had purposely gone out and told the designated pilot examiners that they needed to have a 35% failure rate, otherwise they were losing their job. Well, immediately the failure rate went to 38%. Well, I've been kind of busting them pretty good on that. And now you will not find an FAA FSDO employee, Flight Standard District Office, you won't find one of those employees saying they have anything to do with the check ride. That this is just up to the student and the examiner, and they have no say in it. So even though I didn't get a letter, they wouldn't answer my phone calls, wouldn't answer emails, wouldn't even answer certified mail from me. But at least right now this problem appears to be fixed. We cannot rest and just let things go on as normal, because all it's going to take is just another FAA employee to make up some false pass rate. And here we are again with our young pilots getting failed just because of an FAA employee, not based on their performance. Another thing that I'd like to add to this video, besides the good news, is kind of show you the part that I was talking about. In the article, and I think in the video, I said that the webbing gear on the landing gear had gotten destroyed on a check ride with an examiner that, wasn't in charge of the airplane, wasn't really all that familiar, and let the student basically crash land it. So now, I'd like to show you these parts. This is the webbing on the landing gear on a Seneca II. Right here is where the rod goes in, and then we have the landing gear right here. So this is holding that landing gear, that trunnion, to the actual aircraft. So now you can see this one, and this is actually the part that came off my airplane. So that you can see on the top here, the bolts were literally ripped out of the airframe. So this is what's going on with our training aircraft. This is a very dangerous situation. And just to remind you how I was treated as the aircraft owner and the flight instructor, I wasn't told anything. Now the student, she knew that she landed this aircraft hard, but I don't really hold her responsible because she's a student. She doesn't know what an airplane can take or not. She was just happy that the examiner said after this landing, yeah, you passed. We're not doing that again. I have heard that more than once from an examiner. On here, I do hold the examiner responsible because the examiner was an FBO owner. He was running a flight school. He knew what he did to this aircraft. So what did he do? He walked out congratulated me on my student passing their check ride and said I did a wonderful job, and off he went to do the paperwork and just get out of town. So over the course of the next month, my landing gear wasn't working right. He didn't tell me. I changed the power pack at $3,000 plus another $1,000 in labor. I checked the hydraulic system. Then I finally jacked the airplane and found the loose gear, which this was just barely holding on. So I almost lost a $200,000 aircraft. And this guy was watching me do this all the time without saying a word to me. So we got to keep up on having our CFIs conduct the check rides, because the CFIs don't damage the airplanes as much as the DPEs on the check rides do. Remember, your flight instructor's flying that plane every day. He knows what he can get away with. He knows when to put a halt on stuff and to go around. The examiners do not. They're just there filling out a checklist. So here's the broken part, and this is costing millions of dollars across our country, and it's being added on to you, the flight student. So now, with that being said, I'd like to actually stop this video now because it is a short. Please stay tuned and see the next video, which is American Patriot, the 3%. And my plan is to help you guys. With just 3% of you, we're going to go out and we're going to start talking to the community to get things fixed. Things like getting rid of the 1,500-hour rule for you guys to get hired with the airlines. Having the CFIs conduct the check rides. So check rides go from $2,000 down to $500 just with competition. And there would always be a CFI at your airport to do your check ride, so you wouldn't be waiting months and months to just schedule a check ride. Then we have just requesting a congressional inquiry into the FAA. I should just do a whole nother short on just how much the FAA and the NTSB is just not responding. I've got them in multiple criminal felonies, criminal misdemeanors. We've even discovered that they're falsifying not only accident reports, but the actual FAA employees are going out and falsifying their reports of investigation on us airmen and mechanics. So we desperately need a congressional inquiry, and believe me, I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. But with that being said, I want to just say God bless, peace, keep flying speed.